Hi everyone. So today it's week 0. Um, and what that it means is we're starting the course again. Sending out books to those people who enrolled. They can still enroll next week and stuff. So this is just a preparation week, so for you to organize your schedule, organize with your family what you're doing. You only need maybe 2 to 3 hours a week. But sometimes you might want more time to journal and think about things. But the idea is just to go through the course. Just watch your videos while you do laundry or whatever. But do it on the computer because the phones and the tablets are just a little bit more difficult on that program. So do it on the computer and then just watch it all the way through. I've had people do it over one weekend. That's kind of crazy. Um, but some people have done it in 2 weeks. But if you want to, you pace yourself and do it for the 7 weeks. So you have 10 weeks, so 3 weeks buffer if you need to, do stuff in between. Life happens. But just get through it. And then when you get lifetime access, when you finish, you get lifetime access. Then go back and just slowly go through each of the principles because we're learning life skills. So skills need time to develop. It's not just knowing knowledge, right? It's actually practicing, putting things into action. And of course, life will happen. And when life happens, then you can apply the skills and then practice as you go along. Okay, so that's the benefit. So if you have anybody that wants to start, they still can start, okay, anytime this week, next week, and just let me know. The first 10 people will get a set of books. So we have a few left. So go ahead and let people know as well. So the whole idea, if you want to think about what we're doing here, is it's like personal development. So we want to learn how to master ourselves better and be able to resolve problems quickly, heal ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and then be able to be of better service to others and minister to others. Yeah. So for the people that are here and the people that are watching, a lot of you have been doing this a while, and you get to the point where you're like, I feel strong, I feel happy, I feel like I know things now, and I'm eager to go out and minister to other people. Okay. But before we get to the ministering part, we want to learn the skills to heal ourselves. So how would you like to feel? Um, well, would you like it if you could feel more confident? If you would like to have more clarity in your direction. You want to ask God what He wants you to do, and it's you learn the skills to get to the answers and the clarity much sooner. What about sometimes people are insecure and they easily get hurt um, or offended, or if they're like someone that's super stressed all the time, right? How would you like it if you can resolve that quickly and not have that anymore and just feel happiness and peace and confident? Yeah. And so that's what we're going to do in this course. You're going to learn more about yourself as a divine child of God, and then you learn how to talk to Heavenly Father, and then apply the atonement, or another word, the grace of God, right? Because stuff happens, and then we still go back to our mistakes and beat ourselves up for it, or hyper focus on our weaknesses and all the things that we lack, and then beat ourselves up for that one too, right? Instead of resolving it and moving forward and applying the grace of God to all that, right? The whole time that you're doing this, hopefully we learn how to get out of being passive. There's a lot of passiveness in the world, and sometimes people can't even see that in themselves. And we want to learn how to be self-aware and own our power. Okay, our power to choose, our power to change, our power to create. So I call that agency, right? So agencies choose, change, and create. Yeah. So if anybody wants to talk and share, would you like to share some of your experiences? Like, how have you, gotten out of feeling hurt, easily hurt or easily offended? How have you learned how to be more confident in yourself and your path? So anybody want to share the changes that's happened to you?
I can mention.
Yes, please.
I mean, it's pretty basic because, it's from your course, but I have noticed a big difference with, well, two things really. Just applying the oils and reading the things that come from that, your page right there. It's just like, it just feels like living water every day, and I love the smell. So I put those on and just absorbing those affirmations, I noticed just really shifted where I was coming from. Just I felt more protected by God and just more confident and able to address things better. And then also, it made a really big difference for me to realize that my feelings and emotions were coming from thoughts. Yeah. And just that concept, and then realizing that I can conscientiously just meditate on my thoughts and shift them. And so, applying that has made a really big difference in just how I feel. It really did change my feelings and my emotions about things. And just, but it was more conscientious than I realized. You have to think about what you're thinking, and then just, and I see you doing this and coaching people in this, and then just kind of changing the angle of your thought a little bit. So it still feels like a true thought, but just from a different angle, more open usually. And those two things have really made a difference for me in my personal life.
Oh, that's so good to hear. So do you think that people recognize that you too?
I think so. I've had some of my kids be like, hey, yeah, you're just not as grumpy. You haven't been grumpy for a long time.
You haven't been grumpy for a long time. What's wrong with you?
That's not exactly how they word it, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And it's a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
Your confidence in yourself and your ability. Yeah. And more intentional, right?
Yeah, more intentional for sure.
Yeah. So you catch yourself and then you change. Yeah. And that's what people talk about in the scriptures about repentance. Yeah. Like, good job for repenting. You just made a change.
I have a question for you when you talk about change. As I've read in the scriptures and believe in a mighty change, you see it in the story of Enos and, the King Lamoni, you just see these mighty changes in people, and that's kind of how they call it. And in the scriptures, it just happens in such a amazing way, I guess, like it's an automatic, it's just, like they drop to the ground for 3 days or things like that. And then talk about the mighty change of heart. Do you think this is kind of the same thing, only in increments?
Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah. But it could be sometimes when people they've had like a huge shift, right? Like a change of heart. Like my sister did the clearing for her husband, like 3 heart walls, and like for 3 days, or 2.5 days, whatever, he was super tired. He's like, I don't know why. I feel like I've hiked or I've like ran a marathon or something. I'm just so tired. My heart hurts. And it's like the change of heart, like you're letting certain things, old things go. But I feel like some people who like had a good cry or just a cathartic experience, right? So when you point out something, it's sort of like it's like a little bit of a slap in the face and a wake me up, a shake me up. You know, I feel like that's the change that that they're talking about too. Yeah, sometimes people are completely the opposite. At least the people that we have in our community, they're striving to have more faith. Yeah. And so here's just another way for them to even be better. But so for those people who are, you know, going this other way, and their path completely changes when they see all the truth. It's very tiresome in the physical form, I think. Yeah, I like that, and I like what you mentioned about you know, the living water, because you know that's John 4:15. You know, Christ says, "You'll thirst no more." Yeah, and I find that as we thirst no more, um, the appeal of the things that are exciting or in, you know, of the world, it's like it just doesn't, it's not exciting. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can sit still with our sisters and talk and just be very satisfied and fulfilled. Like, so none of those things are appealing anymore. Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing. Hey, Debbie Westcott, welcome, joining us here from your car, are you? And welcome,
Yes.
Karen. Yeah. So we're just talking about, you know, getting ready for learning. Miss Mackenzie's here, and Bernadette is, yeah, she's new here as well. Yeah, so we just wanted to just share our testimony and our the processes with our friends. So do you want to share a little bit of how you have changed learning these skills? What do you notice about yourself?
Yes, I feel I say this all the time, but it's palpable for me that I feel an underlying sense of peace. Pretty much all the time. My feathers don't get ruffled very easily, and I just have this sense that of the truth of this scripture that says all things will be for thy good for those that love God. So even when things are really uncomfortable, I've had lots of lessons very recently. It was feeling very, very uncomfortable and knowing that other people feel uncomfortable around me. But recognizing that it's a process of growth and refining. And so I don't feel a lot of fear most of the time. And I think those are some of the signs for me that show me that I'm progressing a lot.
Yeah, I love all the things that you mentioned, Debbie. You know, as a human, when we experience discomfort, sometimes we immediately go to this must be bad, you know, or this must be wrong. But sometimes we have a discomfort that we call the refining fire, right? Or, you know, just like removing the old stuff, because there's a lot of generational stuff that is working for us, but also some that are working against us. So when we recognize it's stuff that's working against us and we're pushing forward and we're being pulled back, we can say, hang on, whoa, something is there. What is it? And then we identify our fear. You know, sometimes people think fear is just this little thing that I'm scared, but you know, in the course you see that the fear is anything that's not faith. Yeah. And so, you know, even in worry, even being offended is kind of a fear emotion. And when we recognize that, then we can release it. If we don't recognize it, you know, it's just really hard to change, you know, and then we're the same old, same old. And, you know, we can proclaim to the world we have faith. But, you know, if we're not feeling powerful and we're not making these changes, then who are we kidding? Yeah.
Yeah. If I can just share a couple other things.
Please do.
I feel more confident that I can speak up and speak out. And I was talking with Cheryl Morris like a week or so ago, of this idea of belonging to myself. And I feel that now that I belong to myself. I'm quite autonomous, but not in the way that I'm separated from God. It's just that I try and strive to have my will aligned to God's. And I think that's where the peace comes from. And I'm not perfect all the time, but I have an assurance that like the Savior's atonement is real for me as much as it is for other people too. So
I love that, Debbie. That's a beautiful way of putting it. I belong to me. Yes,
yeah,
you answer to yourself.
yeah, really, really, truly.
Yeah, and then that means we we stop self-sabotaging. We stop well, what do you call that? When people don't honor themselves, right?
Self-betraying.
Yes, self-betraying. Yeah, and we don't know that we're doing it, and we're doing it, and then we're
Yeah,
hurting, and we're hurting, and we don't know why we're hurting. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And so as soon as you say, I love and accept myself fully, right, and I belong to me, you don't let Satan get in the way and say, you did bad, you're not perfect over here, therefore you're not enough, therefore you're not loved. And the statement of you're not loved or lovable means that you belong to these people, and if you're not lovable, then you're not worth anything, right? Because it has something to do with other people, because it's somehow that they have this hold on you. But if you just belong to yourself, I love that, then you answer to you answer only to God, right? And it's freedom. If I mess up, it's okay. I'm still me. I'm still this worthy, beloved child of God, and who I am and what I do is separate. Yeah. And I
yeah.
continue to
And
learn.
I was just gonna say, there's something about not like belonging to yourself means that you're considerate and you're compassionate, but you don't conform to other people, not because you don't love them or that you don't care about them. It's just you know where you stand and you know what you believe in. You've established your personal policies and standards. And it's totally okay if other people don't do things or are uncomfortable, do the same things you do, or you don't do the same things as they do. Like, because we can all have very unique gifts and talents and ways of doing things. And we also have, different upbringings that affect how we think and feel. And we just honor each other on our own path of our journey of growth. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, we don't have to conform, but still feel belonging to the human family and still be confident.
yeah,
Yeah. So much of our pain comes from the need to fit in, changing ourselves, pleasing others so that others like us. But if we like us and it's sufficient, we're already fulfilled. We don't need any validation outside of us, and it liberates. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do in this course as well, right? So sometimes we don't realize that we conform to the culture and traditions. Like a good mom should this, a good wife should that, right? A beautiful person should look this way, And so here we are trying to squeeze in and fit in, and we're miserable all the time.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. We can really liberate ourselves by, answering to ourselves, answering only to God, and just feeling, I love that I belong to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. How are you, Karen? Thank you so much, Debbie, by the way. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm on the run a little bit right now, but
Uh-huh.
I was just gonna say I'll add my little 2 cents here since that's what you're asking for. I actually feel like I had a bit of a different experience coming into this course because I experienced that what Shalay was talking about, that mighty change of heart. And I even do feel like it was on that scriptural level.
That heavy, the strong, powerful shape.
Yeah, where it just completely turned my life 180. Almost a year before I came across this stuff. And so for me, it was more of an opportunity to realize that I wasn't alone, because that I started feeling that way. I started feeling like the people didn't really love God as much as they should, or I just felt like I was beating to a different drum. And so to walk into a community of people who had similar goals or experiences or hopes or wanting to become daughters of God and friends of God, and then also just having the tools to have the upkeep of that mighty change. I think that's where it was for me, because even though I had experienced that change, energy balancing has more been, now I have the tools to keep that spirit with me and to keep those beliefs in a really crazy world. So
yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Karen. I love that. Tools to upkeep, because we work so hard to resolve some things. We want to keep on, going up and improving, progressing. Yeah, and we definitely have that. So, would you say that, like, a person experiencing, say, PTSD is kind of that turmoil, right? For me, that's what it was for me, all this turmoil that I experienced. And then when I learned to have eyes to see, ears to hear, and just, feel God, that PTSD was replaced with peace. And so it's like, for me, that was just my awakening, right? So what I mean by eyes to see, ears to hear is kind of like what Karen said, like people who really know what faith is. We're actively building Zion, right? We're finding other people. We're actually actively caring enough to talk to other people, to help minister to other people, to help them awaken to who they really are, and what they are capable of. We're capable of healing. We're capable of going out there and being a disciple of Christ, anointing people with oils, and comforting people, and not in a shallow way, like I'm helping you so that you like me, and I'm helping you because I have a need to be needed, right? It's more depth. It's like I have so much in my cup and it's overflowing, that all this is for you too. I just want to share this because I can't hold it all in. Yeah. So as a member of this community now, you guys will, go through this journey. Okay, so stay close, and ask questions, share, and feel safe. So sharing would mean, here's my question about this principle, or here's my foot problem, or my whatever problem. What can I do to fix that? You'll learn that there's a very specific lesson and a sermon for you every day, like what Karen's saying, and then you have these tools to kind of help you resolve it as it comes up. And when you heal it, you don't just heal yourself, but you heal your ancestors, you heal for your children, and for people who are around you. they adjust too, because you've adjusted. You've adjusted the way you talk to yourself, about yourself, up to them, and like the world shifts because you've shifted. Yeah. Did you find that? That as you shift, people around you have shifted? So I know, at least for Chalet, you and your daughter took the course. So do you feel like, you know, your relationship has improved?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, Ebony's listening, but yeah, I feel like Ebony and I have a lot stronger things in common, things we can talk about, and um, it's improved my relationships a lot because I've changed my perspective on. I'm just not so feeling like I have to fix things and I have to control things. I'm just more. It's just different. Once you start to, it's just a really different way of looking at the world and recognizing people's agency.
Mm-hmm.
And in your course, you learn about how important our own agency is, but also just how important it is for everyone to practice their agency. And so I feel like it's, like I said, I can't speak for everybody else, and my family's not the type that are like, oh wow, I'm just noticing a change in you, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something they would all just say anyway. But I just feel like our home is happier.
Yeah.
In speaking with you, you know that I'm really angst about my house not being clean enough and all of that. That's a big issue to me, and it's just not now. It actually is getting better.
Yeah.
But when it's not, it's like it's okay. It's okay. It will get there, and that's not what I'm really judging things by anymore.
Yeah.
That
It's
makes sense.
interesting. I love it. It does
I
make
don't know if I make sense, but
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm the same way because, in the past, you have all these attachments to it and it never seems clean enough. It never seemed like it's pretty enough or whatever enough. And now you're letting go more, but it's cleaner, and there's more peace.
this is what it is I'm listening to you talk and then listening to myself talk. My self-value is not tied in
Yes.
to how my house is. That's not where my value is coming from anymore. If it gets messy, it's okay. I'm still doing great. God still loves me. It's okay. And so it's just, I'm unattached from it at a certain level and more aligned with true perspective of my self-value.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. I am so proud of all of us for learning that. And the best thing is we have each other here on out, and we're safe in each other's hands and in each other's hearts. So, when we help each other resolve stuff, and you can have sessions with each other, and as you learn more about each other, there's no judgment there. It's just like we are objective, and we see where each of us need to grow, but then it doesn't mean that we're less than or anything. We're still beloved children of God, but here, beloved children of God, you still have this little, stress here or this little self-doubt here, and let's fix that. And it doesn't go back to saying that you're not good enough. It doesn't change who you are. So that's what I love about it. And so that's how we can secure a strong relationship permanently. So how sometimes you have good friendship and then sometimes you have this struggle and then you don't talk to each other anymore or whatever it is. It's never going to be the case here. If we have this skill down, it's never going to be the case because we all have each other's interests at heart. And, if we're helping each other, it's only because we love each other and the problem's out here and it doesn't have anything to do with who you are.
Right.
Yeah. So as this community grows, it continues to grow strongly because everybody has that skill now. When you feel the feels, you're the one that needs to solve it, and so people can give you an assistant, point out things that you may not be able to see. And that's the beauty, because sometimes we can't see what we can't see. We need our sisters to see stuff for us and then help us identify it. Yeah. So I feel like, this is our strength. This is a place where we can come and get strength and, a little bit more support, a little bit more guidance perhaps sometimes. Yeah, just to move along. So we have a few minutes left. I just wanted to share with you this post that I have. Hang on, where is it? Because Karen and I were talking this week. So part of this course, we want to learn how to identify Satan's voice, because I know plenty of people profess to have faith, they profess to love God, and they, may not experience the peace that was promised with faithful people. Yes, problems are going to happen in our lives. Of course, it's going to happen. But even though those things happen, we still feel peace. And it's kind of odd, but we still feel peace. And that is how we know we are anchored in God. Yeah. So, it's because the results, is reflecting on the beliefs now. Okay. But one of the things that we learn here is to identify Satan's voice, right? And what Satan does very well is make us think or believe that it's our voice, it's our thinking. That's you. You think that. And because you think that's you, then you go, oh, that means I'm bad because I have this doubt, because I have this, all these things. So Karen was saying that it's a lot of D words. And you probably can come up with more. If you do, just let me know. I'll write it down in our note here. Yeah, but just delay. Sometimes we think, oh, I will do it later, thinking that it's because I'm careful. Yeah, but if God speaks and we obey promptly, we won't give an opportunity for Satan to delay obedience. Please feel free to jump in and share your thoughts too, guys. So destroy. So sometimes we don't see it, but if we're feeling the hurt inside of us, right, because of the lack of self-love, the lack of the love that we have for God, then it's easy for people to dish out pain, dish out nasty, because that's what's inside of them. So we have a Bible group that I teach every morning, a bunch of teenagers, and we have a text group with each other. And I was just sharing with the kids how we should encourage and build each other up. So that sounds great and all, but what does it actually look like? And so when I see like jokes that make fun, poke fun at each other, I'm like, well, that there, guys, that is, pulling people down. It's like destructive and not constructive. And one of the kids were like, really? Well, he deserved it because he said this, which, and I'm all, no, but it's still destructive. Because what we need to do is pull out from our heart constructive and love, anything that builds people up and love. That's it. It's not up to us to break down people. And, if you fill up your heart with love, then that's what you dish out. That's what you have within. Okay. So nasty comes from nastiness inside. So that means, we're listening to the voice of Satan. Yeah. And then we need to recognize it. Hang on, that's not me. I'm a good person. That's me listening to him. Like, no. So we have one of the, once in a while we have role plays. And one of the kids we were role playing was like, oh, this is his acting. He's like, oh, this is terrible. That's terrible. I'm nobody. I'm not going to, amount to much. And another boy comes along. He's like, don't listen to that. That's Satan talking. And just helping this guy recognize it. It's not you. Don't think that. Don't say those things because it's not you. It's Satan talking to you. Yeah, so I was really proud of them for recognizing that. So deceive, discourage, doubt, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's another thing that Karen pointed out. Like what you do, it doesn't matter. Or, you know, or discomfort. If something is uncomfortable, maybe it's not worth doing, right? But, you know, if we recognize the purpose of that discomfort, it could be refining, could be building. Self-destructive, right? Like I said earlier, you're not building, you're not constructing. Then that's not of God. And of course, damning is like not letting you progress, not allowing yourself to progress. So I gave an example, like when my husband and I were dating, we did a marriage prep class together, and we also read marriage books together, and we made a list and plans of what we want to do as a married couple. And one of the things is we just made some rules and clarified values and standards for ourselves. Just kind of sat down and just think things through and talked about things. And one of the things is we never want to make jokes that pull each other down, that poke fun of each other. You know, we can have intelligent, fun jokes, but nothing that will even be misunderstood as criticism. Because we're like, there's plenty of things to laugh at. Why should we resort to that? You know, and so we're like, yeah. So we made a list of other values that we had that would build. Okay. So imagine that. Imagine if we had all of that, right? And people had all that. What you get is people building together and growing together, right? And so after a little while, you're so much further along than you've ever been, right? And you keep on continue to progress. But whereas these people over here, if they haven't intentionally designed that, it's poke fun, pick on, you hurt me, now I hurt you. And it just goes round and round in circles and nobody gets anywhere. Yeah, damage from the past hurts. Yeah, that's very good. Damage, feeling damaged. Or you think that you're damaged. Yeah, that's really good. I'm going to write that down. Yeah, so anyways, what I was just thinking about, like the damning, right, is like if you clarify, or not clarify, but if you recognize, hang on, what we're doing is not progressing, and not progressing means we're being damned. So, you know, let's make some changes. Yeah. So brilliant. So imagine, you know, now as a family, you and your family, can we make an intentional decision to build each other up? So, you know, even with little things like my daughter was saying, you know, how she is so confident in talking to the judges. She went to a science fair. She went to regionals and all that. And she says, you know, she's talking to the judges and she's like, I wasn't even nervous. My friends were so nervous. And, you know, we talked about, hey, you know, because here at home, we build each other up. We encourage each other. You know, if one person wants to, like for me, I told my family especially, I want to speak better. I want to have better grammar, better verbiage or whatever. So correct me if I don't have, you know, the right correct words that, and just let me know. So over the years, if you're building each other up, you get this confidence. And so these judges told my daughter, they thought she was a senior. And she's just a sophomore. But anyways, she was like, oh, I'm just like so surprised that, you know, I wasn't afraid of talking to these people. Yeah. Any other D words that you think, you know, we could add to this?
I wonder about dominant or demanding.
Demanding. Yeah.
Kind of pushing your will onto others.
Yes. Yeah. That's robbing people's free agency.
Right.
Yeah.
Dominating. Yeah.
Dominating. Yeah. And we don't have to be dominating if we're trusting other people and trusting God's process. Yeah, it's very good. So feeling damaged, demanding, dominating. Any other D words, guys? Another D word you can think of. Yeah, it's really, really good. I am going to teach this lesson to my kids this week. Just kind of recognizing this is not you guys. It's not you. This is us listening to Satan. This is Satan's voice. So when you recognize that, just rebuke. Yeah. So don't take it personally. Don't make it part of you. Yeah.
Did you have distracted on there? I don't see the list anymore.
Oh, hang on.
Opposite of focused, kind of distracted.
Yeah. Okay, so distracted. Yeah. Oh, distracted is definitely on that list. Yeah, that's good. Yep, distracted, dominating, domineering.
What about diminishing? Is that, do you have anything in there that's like that?
Yeah, kind of like destroying, damning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the same.
Yeah. Oh, really good. Well, ladies, I'm going to stop the recording now. And you're welcome to talk more off the record here.